All right, welcome back to BBPN, where we broadcast the Blood Bowl that almost no one else will. With me is the Scum,
Oi, that's me leg.
Ace from the Court Division.
How's it going?
So we're almost through the first round. We have one set of teams that had to reset their game and play tonight, but obviously we're not going to wait till tonight to do this. So we are down to our final 8 almost.
8.5.
8.5. I like your style. Let's quickly just go over 7 games that have been played. So the very first one was We Are Suckers versus Mind Ogre Matter. What's your guys' opinion on this game?
It was ugly. It was brutal and ugly.
That's just the audience. But no, seriously, that I would recommend is a great game to actually watch the show. An evolved vampire team in LE that's had to suffer first all the bugs of the original release, get better, improve, get a good style, and then they run, unfortunately, to an ogre team that's also its coach has evolved and figured out a better way of hitting them. And it just comes right down to the wire, and you can tell in the overtime the coaches are just getting so bloody stressed and exhausted, and there's not enough alcohol in the fridge for them, and that it's finally going to start to tilt, and it comes down to penalty kickoffs. Highly recommended watch game. It's all breakout tell for the vampires, but the ogres, they did the Illigans proud. They're still running laps, apparently, with that unconscious snotling.
I'll go out there and say that the dice were pretty average. If you look at the rolls on both sides, we rolled 99 ones. So he landed about 82% on bowhead, which is actually slightly below average. And then I rolled 85% on bloodlust, which is good in perspective.
I would just think the only thing that would turn that game even more in someone's favor is either A, he knocked all your thralls out first, or B, you knocked all his snotlings out.
He protected the snotlings pretty well. Anytime I had a shot at a snotling, I definitely took it. I give him that. I was worried about throw teammate the entire game. Just the entire game worried about it. And that's what really kept me attacking that cage a lot. And trust me, that was not the plan to start with.
Right.
Now, you usually go by, what most people in this league do, which is plan B. Kill them. Hit them. Most teams here in this league would think plan B is the plan. They just stick to that one plan. And we've seen how that's worked out so far.
Well, the issue is that he's had to start going into plan C, D, E, F.
Well, I mean...
Well, the ogres just have one plan. Get one of them down. Touchdown things. Seems to be working suddenly, doesn't it?
It does. It's been working well for him. And, it helps that they're coached by a great coach.
And he's now just waiting patiently for the positionals to come out for ogres. Wait for it. That might be in December. We don't know. Spoilers. I'll try and let you lads all know about that one. And I get a release, and when they actually show, they're going to go forward or not, because you're going to see ogre blitzers and ogre blockers.
God, that's going to be exciting. I'll
Right.
almost want to play ogres then.
Oh, you can feel these nipples right here, poking right at the screen.
So why don't we just continue down? Why don't we just predict the second match, the one that has to be played to fight the ogres?
Okay, that's a good one. Who do you guys think is going to win that one?
Well, we've already... Oh, go ahead. I want to hear yours.
As much as I do like Hogstench, he got bit by the Grim Reaper early, really stunted his advancement of his team, while the Goat Boy kind of had a pretty decent season, not too much to really hurt him. So I would think my money would be on Goat Boy just because he's had a little bit better of going of it.
It's funny how you mentioned he got quite stunted. We all remember that kind of embarrassment. Game 1. Oh, look, it's a guaranteed win. I'm playing Goblins. Yeah, we saw how that worked out for you, didn't it?
Jesus Christ.
But maybe that's what I think actually motivates his team. Because you're right, he was just the same thing as the Lizards there. It's just it was a death creep that just slammed his team on the first few games. But maybe that's what's tempered him as a better coach. He's had to get very surgical, very cagey, and he doesn't take anything for granted from his team. I think that's why he can beat them.
Yeah. I just think the other thing too is that unlike the White Kniggets, he's also missing. I mean, he has guard, which let's be honest, that's the only skill you need for those dwarves. But he's also missing stuff like Mighty Blow, maybe a claw here or there, or a Pylon. He's missing. I don't think he has sure hands yet, or maybe he does on one of the hobgoblins.
Well, it's because what his team is survivors. And that's why every time he starts getting certain players up the skill, the exception, of course, being the Ball Centaurs, they have a nasty habit of dying. And that's even been happening to his bloody dwarves. So even trying to get his dwarves leveled up was a quantum leap for him.
Yeah, I'd give it to the undead. Honestly, just 2 mummies, the whites. I can see the undead just maybe take 1 or 2 dwarves off the pitch, and then they're just going to play control at that point.
Well, that's your call. Sorry, I'm sticking with Orgstench on that one. I think, like I said, he's got a lot to avenge this season. He's there, and now look at what happened. We saw what happened in the donkey porn broadcast. And now we're looking at it going, what, he's got to do it again? Oh, sod this.
So I
think you'll win it.
I'm going to have to go with the Scum on this one. And plus, Hawkstench is going to get 100 TV out of this. And I feel like 100, he's going to get 100 inducement, which is going to be a big deal. And he has 150k in the bank. So I'll be surprised what he takes. If he takes Fireball, I definitely think he wins this. If he goes with a bribe or something, then I think he fouls a lot of important players off the pitch. But I mean, he also has the basics. He has dirty player and kick, and Goat Boy just didn't want that. So I feel like Hawkstench takes this one.
Well, we'll see. And then they come up against the ogre wall, and then we'll see what happens there.
Oh man,
hilarity ensues.
I can't wait. That's going to be a great game.
Well, the ogres can't wait. They're already at the stadium waiting there right now. No one told them the kickoff hasn't happened yet. They're just waiting. Go, where are they?
They're going to try to get a doubleheader right out the gate.
Right.
That's another one of the plan.
All right, so the next game was the Lustrian Predators versus the Maniacs Down Under, which is was it Cord versus Wordcasters?
Underworld.
Yeah, Underworld.
Oh, what a crazy game that one actually was. It looked like it was going to be, quite the skirmish stuff. They're doing the Jim Sterling pounding it and pounding it. Okay, it's too much information, but it's you can see the games and they're just crushing each other's teams, and then finally he goes, "Yeah, we're caster," and you can see the Underworld's go, "Oh, fuck this! We actually got to score this damn thing. Stop potatoing down the scramble," and Cord just keeps it together, gets the surgical strike. The ball bounces just right. He goes, with it. I'm going to get the ball. He then long balls it into a tackle zone, gets all the rolls, gets the dodges away, and that's the play that breaks him. That's it. After that, the Underworld team never gets back into it.
And honestly, I gotta say, it's not really surprised me. Honestly, I would also pick Core to win it because, once again, I think Warecaster got like 3 dwarf teams in his first 4 matches as an Underworld team. That's never fun.
Tell me about it. MCC, 2 Chaos Dwarfs, 1 actual dwarf team, and a sucking orc team. You think I had fun?
Well, with how many casualties you were ringing up, I would say yes, but...
Oh, yeah, besides that, the fans enjoyed themselves. Oh, wait, you mean casualties on the other team? Yes, they had fun with that too.
But,
Cord had a rough start to Season 2. He kept having players die on him continuously.
But, I mean, I just find it hard for... It was going to be hard for Warecaster to beat him when he didn't have tackle and all these other great skills, because Zons are just such a strong team out the box just to begin with. then you start playing blodge on all the players and then start developing them. It's not an easy team to beat unless you got the skills to counter all that.
Oh yeah.
But if you look at how the game develops, especially in their first well on there, again the Amazons, it seemed to be with the Lustrian Predators. It's always which style of armor are they wearing this time? How padded are their bras? It's sometimes the AV7's going to break, and then he's all kinds of trouble. And other days you can just see that game. It's like nope, nothing, nil, nothing. Oh, it's just a KO. Wonderful.
Right.
And I can see that's where at that point, Weirdcast, you can see some of his plays are getting more and more, come on with you, fucking break. It's not happening.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, then the Amazons have superiority because, unfortunately, the Amazons had the advantage. They'd done the curb stop to the Maggot Scum early on, so they knew how to deal with a goblin-style team. Go get the goblins.
Yeah. And also, I don't think his choice of star player really helped him either in that match, either. Because didn't he take the Skaven Blitzer with the claw?
I guess
I think the only way I think he took that one because it's got the claw, and that was one time. But he's looking at the different players he should take in there, and everyone's voice was that he should have either gone with, if he could find it the ball and chain, or he takes the chainsaw. Chainsaw would have done a lot better good against the Amazons.
Yeah, that's what, 4s? Yeah, 4 on the armor roll to break it.
That said, though, Cord knows how to deal with chainsaw. Fortunately, the only chainsaw he faced was the most ineffective chainsaw in the bloody league. Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought the strength advantage from the Claw Star player was better than Chainsaw, but yeah.
Well, at that point, he's just looking at what's there. He's thinking about it, and he's just going, Abbott, I need another Skaven, I need another Blitzer. Well, fine.
Yeah, but you need other skills. That's the issue. You need tackle, mighty blow, stuff to help.
Well, I need another drink, but I don't see that happening quick. Oh, wait, here it is. Oh, lovely. Right. You were saying?
I wish there was more star players with tackle.
All-star players with tackle. Oh, said Gold, a challenge.
How nice would that be? I think there might be one star player with tackle that I can think of.
I see, that's the fun part, because I'm going, oh, a challenge. Guess what? I'm double-checking.
Oh, right now the star players?
I always keep copies of every LRB around me. Why? So that's when I can tell Focus you're fucking wrong again.
While he does that...
Alright, let's go on to the White Kniggets and the Cold War captains.
I feel so bad for Lando. I really do. He tried so damn hard with those Kislev, and he just couldn't get anything with them.
He started off really strong. I was like, wow, he's making them look great, and then he just hit a wall. He struggled coming into the playoffs.
Well, that's the issue with Kislev, though, is that if you look at how they develop, is they need, just like Chaos or Nurgle or Lizards for that matter sometimes, they need multiple seasons to build those skills up to become the really big threats they can be. Like, I'm saying like TV 1600 above with like level 4 blitzers. Outside that, you're gonna have to play really smart and really sometimes really desperate to get all those players to do what you want them to do.
Kislev, otherwise known as the Slain team, let's call it what they originally were. Yeah. Thank you, Games Workshop. You see, this is why they have very tall boots. The amount of shite now pulled up from Games Workshop, they need higher boots now. But regardless of that, his problem was he did absolutely stunning, of course, we all saw. Brilliant play, brilliant coach. And he runs in the second round, and look what was in that new division. Look what he was facing. It's all the worst possible teams for him to be up against, and he's getting hurt every single game. It makes it near impossible for him to actually build a core 11 players. Like, you saw how many times he had to go in loner. It was getting crazy by that point.
I mean, I share the sentiment. I mean, I played Kislev in the last, I want to say 6 games of the seasons. I had 3 loners on my team every single game.
And hopefully they do their job. Die.
Yeah, they did.
He played the Dwarves so well before the playoffs that I automatically picked him thinking, okay, he's going to play the Chaos Dwarves the same way, but they just beat him down.
Yeah, but this is a Chaos Dwarf team that one is the hero of the Core Division Season 2, hurting those War Dancers to the point where just one armor break, especially on that Niggler, can cause a death. Much easier now. And two, he has that abomination of an AG3 Bull Centaur.
Oh, don't worry. I think the Amazons have got a nice little bullseye on that one. See, that's the problem there. You can see the white gets his problem is he keeps forgetting about his Hobgoblins, and you can see how that almost came back to haunt him. But look what started happening, mostly all in the second half. Suddenly, Lando can't get a leap to work. How many times do you have to re-roll? Anything but oh, look, there's that one again.
Yeah. Oh, I rolled a 2. Reroll. I got like what, a 66% chance of succeeding. Fail. Do it again. Fail. Do it again. Fail.
But in his case, how many times was it where it's a simple play and he's doing it with the AG4 one with very so it's like, oh, it's anything but oh, look, it's a 1 again. You thought he was playing elves.
Right. Yeah, I'm just more shocked it was a 2-0 loss. I would expect him to at least score at least once.
It was probably something I was going to get into overtime, but by that point, after the disappointment of how the first half had really worked out, second half, well, you can see it. He's not giving up, but then it's like, oh look, there's that sucking 1 again, and it just kept happening. It always at the worst time. There goes the key reroll to just get the what should have worked almost by instinct play, and then later he runs into, well, now we actually need the reroll, but I've had to piss it away on rolling another 1 again on a leap that should have worked on anything but oh, look, it's a 1 again.
It's kind of odd. Well, we mentioned about the ones, but he actually rolled. That was his lowest percentage dice that he rolled was ones. But I can attest that when you get the string of ones, you're just like, oh, and they always come at the worst time.
Yeah.
Well, it's because Neville loves you.
It sure loved him.
Yeah, it did.
Well, he's just going to have to go off and start rigging more Sabbath games. That's what he's going to have to do next season. Oh boy, he's going to scare the hell of us, isn't he?
The machine is going to come back with a little bit more oil on the machine. That's for damn sure.
The machine. What does he play next season? Does anybody know?
I can probably check. I don't know if he signed up yet. I can check real quick.
Well, because of how he played, guess what I volunteered to play for the next season. I think I got to give it a try now. Let's see, I can I'm playing Kislev. I mean Slain.
Slan. Yeah, we're calling him Slan here. We're not calling him Kislev. That's dumb. Why did they make that transfer?
Because if you look at Warhammer 2, the Slan are these big fat frog mage priests, and I don't think that fits the style of leapy agile frogs.
Oh, they used to 25 years ago.
Wait, but they could just call them God, what's the skinny ones?
Those are the skinny ones. Again, reasons. This is Games Workshop Soviet revision at its best.
I mean, we all know how they also did a great job with Age of Sigmar.
Hey, if you keep that up, they're going to come out with Age of Sigmar Blood Bowl, and you'll really appreciate them then.
Don't do that to me. By the way, Lando's playing Undead next season.
Okay, nice. He's going back to the old-fashioned bash. All right, let's move on to the X-Men and Axemen, and Puss and Bile.
You really want to bring that game up? Like that would be reason to rage quit that game.
That game was so funny.
Am I the only one here that's am I the only one here that was cheering against the Knife Ears the whole time? Like every time I see him play, I'm hoping someone just destroys Super's team and makes them lose.
Well, that's Wood Elves. That's a principle matter, isn't it?
I feel like if he was playing any other team and he was rolling that poorly, that he would have lost that game. Because he literally was rolling double skulls on top of double ones. He must have rolled like 5 or 6. And
Don't
Hikaru,
worry, the Nurgles returned the favor, as we all see, unfortunately. Their
very
rolls
end.
equally just as much sucked.
Yeah, it didn't
And
look like Fluffy was much help at all.
sigh. Well, the problem is when you start getting in a situation when you're having to try and throw blocks with the bloody thing, you know you're in trouble. Any Nurgle coach would tell you that one. And he designed an excellent Nurgle team. By the end, he's like absolutely brilliant, deserves to be here. And if any matchup was going to be absolutely deadly for the Axemen, was going to be this one. He must have been looking at that going, well, shite, I'm fucked. But unfortunately, we saw the dice one, and then the overtime. You can tell it's just the fatigue and they start making worse and worse mistakes. Both coaches at that point.
It's just how the playoffs are. You get here, and then the playoff stress happens. It's not like during the regular season where you're like, oh, well, if I lose this one, I just need to win the next couple, and I'm fine.
Aye, but look at GMX on that one. Yeah,
Well,
I just got win. Oh wait, it's over. That was 5 games. Shit, that was quick.
I feel so bad for that guy. He just got nothing.
Oh, yeah,
And it wasn't a bad team. It wasn't a bad team. But looking forward on that one there, yeah, there's the greatest example of why, as Jervis always says, the Blood Bowl's got one fault in it. It's a dice game, as he says. And there you saw the greatest example. Should he have won that? Oh, hell yes. But 1 in 36, trips on the goal line, and suddenly we're into an overtime. And he's going, why? Why? And then, as Superfed himself admits, he screws up the play. He completely forgets about disturbing presence. Goes, I'll make a pass. Oh, Christ. It's a 5. Oh, I'm fucked. And he breathes a sigh of relief when he actually makes the completion.
Yeah, if I was at the tripping at the goal line for the win like that, my face would have been on my desk with an imprint on it. Just that's enough to make you either rage quit or just start crying in frustration.
That's why this is a drinking game, lads.
Just don't drink enough.
Apparently.
All right, so the next game is the Diamond Dogs versus the Dusk Reavers.
I actually wanted the Pro Elves to go for that. I honestly was cheering for Callisti.
As bad as he got stumped the first time, I was rooting for him too. But it didn't work out for him this time either.
No.
Didn't work out, he says. Boy, there's an understatement. When your absolutely gold star player gets surfed by 7 Dark Elves, making sure lineups that way, there's your pounding. You know how the game's starting to go at that point there. And you ask Finn Elves going, was that worth it? Absolutely. That's maybe one of the craziest plays so far the first round. It's like, are you insane? Oh wait, it's that play. I'll go ahead then.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to talk about the play of two opposites. I mean, you have the Pro Elves here who are dodge and pass just like the Woodies, but then you have the Dark Elves who are not scared to get up in your face and start punching you. So it's like two sides of the same coin here.
And he really built his team, or Finhale built his team to really wreck Elves.
Well, yeah, because he's had some, rather bad personal experiences trying to get through the divisions. Like, look at the deaths his team suffered going through some games. Even though they'd win the games, you look at the casualties against them, you're going, how's your team even surviving, let alone having anything to afford? That's why you can look at his team structure, and the reality is he's got now 7 core survivors, and they're the ones who've got all the skills, and everything else, well, that's just how high the attrition's been on his team. I think the record was it was against the Goblin team, 3 deaths against the Goblins. Still won.
Yeah, but I thought when he lost that Star Witch Elf though, I thought that was going to be the bone that breaks him.
No. This is a Dark Elf team. They're like the Kislev team. No. Their bone breaks you.
Well, when you look at the dice log, Callisti's dice were bad. Like, real bad. You're looking at 41 ones, 32 twos, 30. Well, at past there you got 3s and 6s, but they're all below his average for ones, and that's terrible. It was terrible. And then his block dice didn't look much better.
Yeah. I mean,
In the end, it was just surprising that I was figuring that it was going to be a game that was going to just go on into even penalty kicks at this rate between the teams. But frankly, I expected it to be a far more high-scoring game, knowing the styles, and you can see it just became a grinding match. And we all knew if that's going to happen, that's in the Dark Elves' favor. That team is designed. If it's going to become a grind, she'll grind you all right all day. Just go down to the club. She'll grind you for the right price.
as a hockey player, I don't mind some grinding plays. I mean, hell, I was a pretty good grinder when I played hockey, so I don't mind watching those myself.
AV8 versus AV7. I mean, sometimes AV7 doesn't work out.
It's a myth.
I asked the previous season champion how well is Armor 7 held out this year. I'm sorry, we're not talking about his team. He's not here. Sorry, move along.
Yeah, you gotta make it.
Like, don't get me wrong. That was another one of those teams. You going, someday, the bear doesn't just get you; it just shows up, rips your face off, and does all kinds of unmentionable things on this channel.
Yeah.
All right, so
that was Emo's season summed up. So, all right, getting on.
next up is Don't Funk With My Heart and the Immortals.
Dwarf versus Orc, the biggest grudge match in history.
That doesn't count. It's a Chorf team. Doesn't count.
They still hate the Greenskins just as much. Granted, they're chaos, so they hate everybody just as much, but
including if it was actually correct their own sucking team. I'll bring that argument up some later. It's still argued that the Hobgoblins should have animosity because they're supposed to be that sucking stupid. That still hasn't been added in, so therefore the Chaos Dwarves are still unbalanced. Go figure.
Wait, you mean making their rerolls more expensive didn't work?
Well, it's not enough. When they were 50k, they were the tier 1 team, as was proven time and time again. Let's make them 70k. Well, that's helped a little, but the problem is the Hobgoblins are still too fucking useful for the price because they have access to general skill and a semi-decent stat line.
Yeah. But I mean, 1-0, I mean, that's for a Chorf/Dwarf versus Orc game. I mean, that's not a very surprising score line right there. I mean, that's just a grinded out, beat the shit out of each other. Whoever scores first wins it type game.
And that one there, it's as you probably saw in the cast in there. If I was pulling for the Orcs the whole way through, I thought, as things had developed, getting into the playoffs there, he had built an incredibly good Orc team, well structured, interesting disposition, and looking at that, Black Orc troll, for lack of a better term, without the really stupid. You thought more was going to come out of this team in this game. Instead, you saw what was starting to happen when the great collapse happened, and the one or two great mistakes happened, and then that was it. The final score goes in, and there's nothing he can do about it. He's staying there going, what happened?
But yeah. But I mean, when you get those two teams to go against each other, though, that has to be a fun one to watch. Always. Because it's fun for the fans because you see a lot of punching. It's fun for the coaches because you have to get really chess-like with these games with how, like, Dwarves have a shit ton of guard, but Orcs have a lot more strength. So I love the push and pull of those games, and honestly, I'm not really surprised that it's a 1-0 win. I kind of would like to see the Orcs go on more than the Dwarves, seeing that we already have, 3 Dwarfs in the damn playoffs.
Yeah. What does that say about the Chaos Dwarves?
Right.
I mean, are they the strongest team right now? Obviously, I mean, 3 teams in our playoffs.
And they're all Chaos Dwarves.
Yeah, they're all Chaos Dwarves. There's no Orcs going to the next round or Dwarves.
Well, it does help that the Trolls are being held by, let's face it, 3 fairly decent take-them-out-for-a-beer coaches. That does kind of help a bit, doesn't it?
That's true. Maybe it's just the coaches that are helping them.
Of course, I still would argue the Trolls are unbalanced anyway, but that's always going to be my rant.
Well, yours and many others, if the forums are anything to go by.
Well, it's because in a evolved league, it's because they got the easy access to the mutations. Suddenly, all life and all bets get off, because if he does develop longer term, oh dear, that's when you get those chuff kill teams in the front.
God,
Same issue goes with Chaos. When you get Chaos to start developing a long time, you start getting that claw pylon mighty blow with the guard.
Doesn't start with block, and the dwarves do, and that's a huge advantage.
And
they've
tackle,
also
don't
got
forget
tackle.
that.
Yeah, of course I won't forget they have fucking tackle. They did that to me enough times.
And then the Bull Centaurs with, I think, what is it, Sure Feet Sprint, Strength 4. I mean, really great blitz pizzas.
That's exactly what they're for. They suddenly give you the gnawing mobility, place, and even the escaping team are going, oh fuck, I gotta run.
I never
running, crap.
I never in our league, because it's not perpetual or anything like that. In 16 games, I never find Chaos Dwarves that difficult to deal with, unless they go on their rampage of breaking armor. Then that's different. But usually, I feel like they're dwarves with bull centaurs, and they're easy to tie up too if the coach doesn't give them break tackle.
Well, I feel like all you need on the dwarf team, and all three of them have shown it this year, is you only need one skill on each of those 6 dwarves, and your team's pretty much complete right then and there, and that's guard. Guard on all those dwarves, and you're pretty much set for the whole season.
Just don't stand next to them. Just don't stand next to the dwarf, and you're good.
The issue, though, is it just gives them so much control, and I think that's probably what happened with the orcs, because I haven't seen the cast of that, but he was able to control where the plays, kind of controlled line of scrimmage, kind of control where the pace of the game, where it was then at his point that he decided when to either push or force a mistake, and then that's how he wins it.
It's not a flawless game by don't fuck with my art. Don't get me wrong. He does make one or two wee mistakes, and because of how brilliantly this orc team was actually built, and with what skills up it's got, you're going, hey, this team could go toe to toe easy with them, and that's exactly what he does. And then, well, you saw what happened. It just became scrum after scrum after scrum until finally, the only mistake mainly got made in that crazy scramble for the ball in the second half, and that's maybe the only mistake, and that's what cost them the game. And you can even argue, is that really a mistake? I see what he's trying to do. If it works, he's gone, and the Orcs win it. So you tell me if that's actually a mistake or not. I don't think it is, but it's a risky play. He's looking for 2 rolls on a 50%. But if it worked, he was gone. There was nothing the Chaos Dwarves could do about it.
Risk is the business.
That's exactly it. Risk is the business. Oh, and to answer your question, 2 players. One is a Chaos Dwarf, go figure. Yes, he's got tackle. But the other one, yes, it's that Prince Moraim. It's that stupid fucking elf. He's also got tackle.
Only 2.
It's only 2 of all the entire star. There's a ton of bright tackle in there, but only 2 actually have tackle.
There's an elf with tackle?
Plays. As an elf with tackle, the Prince, because he's got block, dauntless, tackle, wrestle, and he's strength 4 to boot.
Doesn't block and wrestle, isn't that kind of redundant?
He's an elf.
Fair point.
Need I say more? He's a bloody perfectionist. He wants to do all of it. If he goes after you to knock you down, because of that stat line, he will always knock the bugger down. That's his job.
Is he in Blood Bowl? I mean, I know he's in tabletop, but man.
Yeah, he is. He's an LOB 6. He's been there since the beginning. He's a 230k player, only hired by Elf or iElf.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's why, because I don't too often play at TV disadvantage with elves. But anyway, you see
when they say elf, that means pro elf. Oh, exactly. It's when it comes to star players, and like, who's got tackle? Anybody? Bueller? No one's got it.
I mean, when you're at TV disadvantage, one of the biggest things you want is tackle, because the other team probably is loaded with dodge.
Oh yeah. If we get to the last game here, this is in my opinion, the surprise game for me of round 1.
Okay, VGP stole my bike, and then Storm Surge.
Yeah,
Pandemonium runs wild. That's
I
exactly it.
honestly, I honestly thought the Lizards were just going to steamroll right over Panda.
All right, here's my thinking. Did you watch the prior game the Lizards had just played before getting into that game?
Of
Yes.
course.
Because that would have shown you, he's in trouble. I would argue here this, like, look, I thought he was going to win it too, really. But then I looked at how much money he spent to try and change the TV differential of that round 5 game. Because of that, he then weakens his position getting into the next game. And as you see from the cast on that, first 2 turns, he's playing well, he's got under control, no problem, and then bang, bang. Uh-oh.
And then, of course, the one thing everyone pointed out, the niggled Crocs.
Well, he went
And
and bought
remember,
Crocs, though.
Goblin took him out. All season, none of you buggers, anyone, it took a Goblin on 1 dice to take that Crocs out.
That game was so nasty. I
But
honestly
honestly,
didn't think that his team would suffer from injuries that bad 2 games in a row. 2 games in a row.
Well, that's been the thing with that team, hasn't it? Like, look at it the first round and the death creep that team went. But then look at the stars he developed, and that showed you how smart of coach you've got behind this team. It's going, all right, I'll accept my people are dying like flies, and they're making handbags and luggage and rollaways, but I can adjust the development of my team accordingly. And it showed all the way through. And going into the second round, again, he's got a bit of a death creep, not as bad finally this time. Okay, we'll ignore that game 5. Okay, actually, we can't ignore that one. That's what put him into the mess in the first place. But it's as if you watch the catch, what boggles me is he finally has that one desperation play. It's still 0-0. There's that one desperation play, and he doesn't do it. He can take his star skink, dodge through all the tackles down, good stunty on 3s, pick up the ball. Admittedly, it's 5s, but she's got 2 hands, and he's gone.
right.
And he can't stop him.
Well,
And he doesn't do it. I don't understand why he doesn't do it. I think it's the only mistake he makes all game.
And I'm sitting here looking at the cast line. I mean, there's only 2 big casts, but I mean, as soon as you hurt that Crocs that was niggled, he fires it, gets a new one, and then Panda just straight up kills it, just I guess out of spite.
Well, I understand Panda was going to take a bit of a world tour, a bit of vacation, and he needs some new luggage. There it is.
And I don't know if we can call Panda a smart coach yet, because I mean, I guess he's playing ogres next season, so I mean, we'll see how this works out. But
He's going to be a sad, sad Panda. sad Panda.
Yeah, that was my surprise game of round 1. I honestly was kind of thinking the Lizards were going to take it.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
I mean,
we all called it. We all said he's going to win it. He's going to win it. Just sometimes we all look what happened starting that turn 3. Suddenly it's like wang. Oh dear. Well, this is going badly suddenly, and then the creep starts. But even then, he's like I said, he's playing fabulous. He's trying to control the situation. He's managed to pop the ball free once or twice there. There's risk is the business. He's going all out. And then when the one other play, the last play he has to do is that's risk. What are you doing? What are you dodging with that player? There's the ball. Go get it. I'm flabbergasted at that point. It's if referring to our old legacy coaches and all that. If that had been Guinness, he would have gone and gotten the ball, scored, no problem. And that's how he ends up winning eventually the World Cup. Is exactly a play like that. Well, that didn't work. Well, screw it. I'm just going to go score then. And it goes and does it.
Well, I mean, he just has to use his skinks and harness the little Skittles, man, and make it rainbow. I mean, come on.
They're goblins on rollerblades. That's what they are. Treat them as such.
And I don't think there will ever be a skink as famous as Little Skittles.
All right, so
well, Heartbreak Hotel moving right along.
Yeah. All right, so that was the recap of the first round. Before we go on, what team do you guys think from here on out is going to go the farthest? Is going to win it all? Have your minds changed any, or?
I'm still torn here between Dr. Helix Chaos Dwarves just because of how well developed they are for just punching and controlling the game, or honestly Superfed's Wood Elves because, well, it's Wood Elves.
Really? That's what we're going with here? All right. No, I can see the reasons why. Here's mine. Go figure. I'm still looking the Bone Chewers. You know, after the donkey porn incident, I think they're going to find a way to win the bloody thing again and keep marching on because, like I said, they've got the biggest thing to prove. But my dark horse, I'll say it, I'm spotting them right out of the Ogre division, the Ogres. They're the dark horse.
I think they're everyone's dark horse. I don't think anyone's expecting them to really go all the way.
No one's expecting them to score a touchdown for crying out loud, but look where they are.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little bit more diverse. I mean, I agree with Ace on the X-Man, but my dark horse, and it's going to sound like I'm hedging my bet, is going to be Finhell.
Finno?
Yeah, I expect he could win with that team.
If he gets through Superfed, I think he would take it all. I think Superfed is going to be his biggest challenge.
But he has the team to do it, so he's my dark horse. Just trying to be diverse because we all want to see the Ogres win.
A Dark Elf Ogre final. Can you imagine the carnage of that one?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's going to be better than season 3 or 4 Blood Bowl 1 NATTS final with halflings.
If it's that kind of final, I will change my prediction. That's no longer 6 casualties in the game; it's 6 casualties per half.
That's great. I like it.
So, what's your most excited game to see next? Is it the Ogres and the Bone Chewers or the Dead Skin Mask?
No, if I had to choose, it's again a flip up between two. Actually, I'm actually really interested in the Dark Elves versus Wood Elves. Again, just very very diametric opposites of play style. And then of course 2 extremely old Blood Bowl coaches going at Helix versus Cord, and just see what they can do to each other.
Me, I'm most looking forward to Sunderland versus Millwall. I think the Lions are going to... Oh, you mean in this league? You know, I'm looking forward to seeing Don't Funk My Heart take on VGP Stole My Boy, because I don't know what to predict out of that one. Neither of the team I picked to get there they are. I expect a lot of surprises there, because they now have something to prove. Going, look, none of you sodding twits thought you were going to be here. Here we are, middle fingers extended, 10 stories tall, both coaches, and they've earned it. I'm looking forward to what that match is going to be.
Yeah. And I have to say, I would say the X factor, honestly, is which panda shows up, the sober one or the drunk one.
Wait, there's a difference.
What? Yeah, that's what I want to say. What?
Or should I say, the one that's imitating a good coach or the old panda of lore?
And again, there's a difference.
Well, this year panda's imitating a good coach.
Yeah, which one? He better not be imitating me. He's doomed.
All right, so let's go ahead and jump through and quickly predict the next round. So I don't know, do we want to predict the Ogre game already, or we just want to skip past that?
Well, we can. I mean, we have to predict the first one first, though, and
well, I think I've already decided it was the Bone Chewers. I think the Scum also said it was the Bone Chewers. What do you think?
I think if the undead are the ones that get through, I think ogres take it, because I think ogres can control an undead team a little bit better than a dwarf, because they could probably dodge a lot better. But if it is Hogstench getting through, I think Hogstench is smart enough to get after those little snotlings and just pound them into snot more than they are already anyway.
And my call, like I said, I'm calling Bone Chewers to win the whole bloody thing. But that said, if he gets there, I'm going to pick round 2. I'm going to call the Dark Horse, the Ogres, to actually win it, because I don't know what surprises he's going to have for me next. Every game he wins, it's a game he gets smaller and learns how to get that boarding. So That's what's going to keep happening. That's the problem with this ogre team. Is that he doesn't care about the snotling casualties. He never fucking cares. And the worst part is, notice which player of the snotlings actually is coming back. The one that's a real player, the blodger.
If he can get to level 4, I think that's just it for ogres. I mean, he has a level 4 snotling. There's nothing that thing can't do.
Yeah, it's got all the skills. I think that's going to be the biggest problem right there. How does he deal with it? Well, you have to get through the 6 huge sucking ogres to get at them, and look at all the skills they're crazily piling up at this point here. If they just get through another game, whoever's the victim in the semi-finals is going to be exactly that.
I feel like if Deadskin goes through, it could cause more problems for the ogres because he has actual players that can mark them and much faster players to get around them versus the Bone Chewers, who I won't say his guard won't help him, but it's not going to be as effective because they're all strength 5.
That is true.
Well, let's just see what happens tonight then.
That's true.
Oh shit.
What time do they play tonight? Does anybody know?
No. Let me pull up the NATTS real quick.
All right, you check the board. What about?
I don't know. What time does their local brothel call those? I think that's when they're going to be playing the game.
All right, let's see. Bone Chewers. It looks like they have rescheduled for tonight, 11 p.m. EST.
All right, so a super late game. Nice. It's late for me anyway, because I am on the Eastern.
Yeah, they're going prime time for that one.
If 11 p.m. is prime time. All right, so the next game, I already feel like I know how this is going to go. The Lustrian Predators versus the Night Kniggets.
White Kniggets. I can't go against Helix on this one. I know Cord is a great coach, but he has the players that completely counter all that blodge on top of Mighty Blow. I see him just putting an extreme hurt on the Amazons and just pretty much just skipping his way to the end zone.
I feel like regardless of what the Ogres do, if the Ogres win or not, if Cord wins this will be the biggest upset of the round. Completely, because I don't think anybody's going to pick him to win this one.
Oh no, because it's dwarves. What's the worst thing you can put against an Amazon team? The dwarves.
And a pretty well developed Chaos Dwarf team at that. What about you, Scum? What do you think?
Well, that's the thing here. Look at what this Amazon's record was against any Dwarven team all season, and I think that's why the White Kniggets are actually in more trouble than he knows. He's got a problem that every single time someone forgot to tell the Amazons are supposed to lose to tackle teams. They're supposed to crack armor a lot, get hurt a lot. It's not happening. So as long as he doesn't tell his players that's what's supposed to happen, he's going to be just fine. So as long as Cole doesn't listen to the broadcast, he's just fine. He should probably go on to win the damn thing.
Yeah, the issue though is, I mean, I think Helix is a lot smarter than that because Helix knows Cord. He's been playing with Cord for how long ago was BB1 NATTS? I mean, they've known each other for years. I think these two have each other's numbers. They know each other's play style, and I think Helix knows exactly how to stop the Amazons.
So, does that mean you're going to pick Cord to win?
I'm going to pick Cord to win. I've got to show a little bit of favoritism on that one there, because like I said, I saw how he dealt with every single Dwarven style team all the reg season. Both the first round, the second round. It's just driving them crazy. And you saw the moment the ball's down, he is never afraid to go, hold my beer, watch this. And off it goes. And one of the few ties he had really should have been a win for him against a Dwarven-style team. It's just because, well, she tripped on the damn goal line, but he learned the next time, okay, be a little closer this time. So
we all know that you just like their jubbly jubs jumping everywhere. That's why you like them.
Oh, boy, I just never can get tired of that celebration dance. Can you?
Well, Cord, do you have a believer? Are you on his list? Because he might take you off the list.
Of course I'm on his list.
It's gotta be somewhere in between the lines on mine. All right, so next up, so we got Axemen versus Finhell. That's a hard one to
Dead
call, in my
elves.
opinion.
I
It's not a hard one to call. Dead elves. Everybody wins.
That is true. I mean, I want to say Finhell because I feel like, as you said, he has the players to counter him. But at the same time, we're looking at a Wood Elf team that doesn't know what the fuck AV7 is all season.
Oh, you're talking about the teak under armor supplements they have all the time.
Yes.
Hell, except for that one game against good old Dr. Elix himself, it's not normal.
Yeah, I mean, and plus he has 2 level 4 ward answers. I mean, that alone is enough to just carry the team.
Aye, but if you look what condition those wall dancers are in,
Thanks
just
to Helix.
once. Just once, you gotta hit both of them, and he's probably going out for at least minimum KOs, and suddenly that changes his entire plan. He's just gonna have to keep his wall dancers alive. Of course, look at those darling, wonderful, fabulous death women he's got on the day. I've got their calendars, trust me. They're fabulous, and that's going to be the problem. Axeman may have to change his entire strategy and actually go on the attack just to try and take these two Sheilas out. If he doesn't, he's in trouble.
Well, do you think the tree also gives Super a little bit of a edge? You know, a big old person that can just smack someone whenever he feels like it?
And it moves too.
That's true.
And sometimes it doesn't move at all. If there's any team that could get away from them, it's Dark Elves.
I don't know. It's a hard one to call, honestly. It's
how they make it hard, all right.
What about how brutal the Axemen have been all season? Like, they literally have been knocking people out.
Yeah, they've probably been one of the more bashy Wood Elf teams I've ever seen.
So you're figuring it, what, flip a coin? That will decide this one?
I think it's going to come down to whoever gets the number advantage first, honestly.
Well, the problem is whoever gets the number advantage. We've seen how the seasons have been for both these teams. The Wood Elves will have the number advantage sooner because we've seen what keeps happening to Dust Reavers. But you've seen in the hands of this coach, he doesn't piss and care. He's been down numbers how many times this season and doesn't care.
I honestly think the number one thing is if Finhell gets his hands around the necks of those war dancers, it's Finhell's game. 100%.
I can't argue that.
So it's going to come down to what the first categories are within the first 4 turns. Okay, I can see that. Otherwise, flip a coin.
Yeah.
Finhell does get 140 inducements this game if Superfed doesn't feel like picking up another elf.
So blow an extra 10k, grab a wizard.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be fun.
It will.
Oh yeah.
So what's your calls though? You gotta call it.
You know, I'll go with Finhell. I think he gets on the war dancers and hurts them and just dominates the game from there.
Well, I want my calendars signed yet again for the new, double spreadsheet issue here. So I got to pick the Dark Elves. Sorry, I don't care how pretty those Wood Elves are. I don't want them signing it.
I'm still mad they changed the war dancer model.
Man, it's hard to call. I'm just because I doubt that the Axemen have been brutal all season. I'm gonna go with them.
It's gonna be interesting though. That's the round 2 match to watch. That's for damn sure.
All these matches are great matches to watch.
Oh, you mean you're finally mentioning the last one in there? The two teams going, what the hell you doing here?
Right. So VGP stole my bike versus Don't Funk with my heart.
I do have to say this though before we continue. VGP likes to steal Panda's bike a lot, apparently.
A lot. He must have a nice bike.
It's a classy bike, I'll say that. You've seen the bling on that one, but now he's against the disco-loving dwarves, and you've seen the afros this team packs. I'm actually going to go, yes, it's going to be exciting, it's going to be dynamic, and I think Don't Funk With My Heart's going to go marching on with it here, because Panda's going to put everything into it, but I Don't Funk With My Heart, well, they've got something to prove again. They got past an Orc team, just by superior control, barely. And now they just want to smash through because they're looking at the next round going, it's elf, we don't care.
Right. Um, this is another hard one for me to call because I mean, I feel like Thorn can control the pitch a lot better, but the X factor for Panda, I feel, is going to be those werewolves. If he can get that Mighty Blow Claw werewolf going early, he can make this into a really, really long game for Storm.
But you've seen how the Pandemonium is run wild, all with those mangy little mutts. They're sucking useless. They really are. That's not what wins him the games, time and time again.
I mean,
it's everything else going tilted. That what wins the game for him. The mangy mutts are useless. They've been useless all season.
Yeah, but versus dwarves and him having claw, I think that they're honestly going to have to step up for this one, or he is going to lose it.
So you're thinking this is it. This is the day where he finally goes, snip, snip. Look, you're going to the pound if you don't actually work. Now, sucking work.
Pretty much. Because I mean, versus a Chaos Dwarf team like this, especially with the guard and all that, you have to aim to get some of them out to kind of stop his control. If you can't get some of those pieces out, he's just going to control the game the entire way.
This is where I think Pandemonium's going to get cagey on you. He's going to ignore the dwarves. He's going to go after everything else, and then we see what happens.
Everything else has gone on his team because the dwarves are just punching him.
Exactly, but they have to catch him first, and that's the thing. Dwarves move 4, and those mangy mutts move 8. Everything else moves generally 6 to 7. And that's what I think it's actually going to come down to. He's going to do a idiot savant moment, and then we'll see which one actually shows up, the savant or the idiot.
I can't remember, how did he do against the Chaos Dwarves in his division? I know he lost to them.
Because the mangy mutts were useless. Flea bags, all of them.
Man, it's hard to pick because Panda does a really good job imitating good coaches. It hasn't convinced me yet.
Like we said, it depends which one he picks this game. Who's he imitating?
I'm going to go for the Hail Mary pass, and I'm going to pick the Panda to win.
I'm going to play my chips. I'm going to play cards close to the chest. I'm going to go with the Storm on this one.
That's probably a safe bet.
I got to pick Storm because I need to do more disco national anthems, so we got to keep bringing back funk music.
Panda, win for me. Win for me, Panda. That's all I got to say. All right, gentlemen. Well, that looks like everything. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Well, actually, yeah. One other question that I saw was, out of the 3 Chaos Dwarves, which one do you think is the best one out of all 3 of them?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh,
the
man,
dead
that's a
one?
really hard question.
A dead one?
That's the best Chaos Dwarves I've seen. They're all dead. Hooray! But seriously, I would actually stand by, I think, Bone Chewers, but that's because of the coach that's handling them does miracles with that team and really understands the mechanics of that team hands down. Like I said, first round really gave him a bloody scare, and now he's marching on. But White Kniggets, I think, are a close second on that one. And again, it comes down to, well, what version of him actually shows up that day?
Right.
I completely agree with the Scum. I mean, we'll look really bad if Deathskin Masks wins tonight and, Bone Chores is not the one going on. But, yeah, he, mostly because of the coach is why I'm picking the Bone Chores. And the White Kniggets, like I said, pretty well developed also for a close second.
Don't get stolen out of that. Don't Funkle My Art, still an excellent team, but look who he's up against there. He doesn't know what's showing up. Even he's going like, is there a playbook? And they're going, we have a playbook?
Yeah, this is going to be, as much as I hate it as a fan of this team, but this is going to be like the Denver Broncos versus Philadelphia Eagles all over again. Is it going to be the Broncos that suck ass, or is it going to be the ones that come and dominate? Really hard to make a game plan.
Well, let's just put it this way. Who pukes on the field first? That's all I'm going to know. At least they're not the Buffalo sucking Bills. That's all I'll say on that one.
Yeah, the Broncos could have a run for their money right now. But anyway,
Right, so that's the excitement. All right, close us out there.
Yep. All right, guys. Well, it was a pleasure having you. Thanks for coming and having this podcast with us. And
I'm not even breathing heavy. What are you drinking?
all right. Well, that's all for BBPN, and we will catch you next time.
Bless your dice.